If you ever watched American Sniper and thought, man, I want to do that. I really want to be able to shoot 1,000 yards, but you don't know where to start, I've got here the ultimate precision rifle with input from professionals and sniper instructors from across the country, but it's going to give you everything that you want to shoot 1,000 yards consistently and maybe have a way to brag to your buddies. So let's get to it. All right, so let's get going with this build. And this build has been a long time coming. I decided to start building a precision rifle back last fall when I took my first precision rifle class. Shout out to Sidewinder Concepts and my buddy Adrian over there. Took me to 1,000 yards within a couple of hours of being in the class. You guys are looking to learn how to shoot accurately and consistently long range and all of the mechanics that go into it. Check those guys out. Shameless plug for them, but they really are awesome. And he helped me put some of this together. Also, my buddy Mike Mills over at Tactical Considerations helped me with some of the design and setup of this list for building. So let's get to it. Okay, so this starts, the heart and soul of this build is the Aero SOLUS 6.5 Creedmoor 22-inch barrel, fluted barrel. Aero Precision is known for having amazing bolt action rifles with their SOLUS system. It's that Remington 700, just been a mainstay in the precision world for a long time. 6.5 Creedmoor, still one of the new kids on the block. It's changed the precision world in a lot of ways, and so that's what I decided to go with. Also, the 22-inch barrel is ideal if you're not planning on suppressing constantly. Unfortunately, I live in a state that doesn't allow suppressors currently, and we're working on that, but we'll see what happens. So I have to shoot this unsuppressed to a certain extent. So I'll probably put a break on this at some point, but as of right now, we're just rolling with this. The chassis that this is going to mount in is the MDT ESS, and this is a 3-piece system that comes from MDT. It's actually 4-piece with the grip. The system in and of itself is really solid. It keeps that barrel from being mounted to anything, keeps it free floating, and it has an awesome rail system in the M-LOK variety and ARCA. It will handle all of those precision pieces that you guys want to mount on your rifle. Fully adjustable stock with cheek weld riser, length of pull. It's really, really solid. I mean, this looks skeletonized, but this metal is really, really solid, and it's lightweight as well, so you're not adding a bunch of weight to it. I decided to upgrade the grip to the Elite, and I like this because it kind of cants your hand a little bit forward. Not a lot, but just that right amount that gives you the ability to control your weapon. As far as a bipod, which is a mainstay and a need, because if you're shooting prone, you have to have a bipod. It's the best option because bags are not as consistent. You can use them, but I would always suggest that you guys use a bipod. And I wanted something really rock solid. I've used Accu-Tac before, and they are heavy, but what you give up in weight, you gain in the ability to just lock this thing to the ground and do some really solid precision work. So that's the main part, but let's get to the cherry on top. The cherry on top is the Leupold Mk5 HD. It's a 5-25, and it is just gorgeous. If you guys know Leupold, they're one of the top names, top brands in the industry, and there's a reason for that. When you look into really good glass, you just know. It's kind of like driving a really nice car, a really nice sports car. You just know, it just has a different feel, it has a different look. The mount is a zero gravity. If you guys aren't familiar with zero gravity, they're really making waves in the precision and DMR, SPR world with LPVOs and scopes. They also have an expansion of their line coming soon. This is an amazing mount, and they design it so that you have kind of a clamshell design, and that prevents you from over torquing and crushing your tube. Jake over there has done a lot of engineering and a lot of elimination of a lot of these problems that we run into. If you guys aren't paying attention and you've ever kind of done a bad deal and crushed a tube on an optic, you may not even know it, but you're just like, this thing won't zero. It doesn't work right. that's a common problem, and they prevent that through their design. So you guys check out Zero Gravity, it's amazing. Finally, the trigger control group is the TriggerTech Diamond Series, a Remington 700 setup. This is a 4-ounce to 32-ounce trigger, and if you guys understand 4 to 32 ounces, it's not very heavy, but you don't want a real heavy trigger on a precision rifle. So that's all of the components that we have for this rifle currently. And so we're gonna start putting this together and show you guys really what the finished product looks like. Then we're gonna take it out to the range, we're gonna get some results, we're gonna zero it, we're gonna true it, and then we're going to take it out to about 500 yards. So let's get rolling on this. All right, so we're gonna zero this bad boy, and we got a couple preliminary shots, just kind of see where we're at. We're close, about 3 inches away, and so we're gonna fine tune this, and really we want to zero at 100 yards because for your math, when you're shooting long range, at 1,000 yards, it's much easier to do the math for your holdovers, for your dope, for where you're gonna put your scope. And it's easier to do all of that math if you're at 100 yards because the math from 100 to 1,000 is much easier. You're not having to deduct anything. Most of my carbines, I zero at 50 yards, but for precision, you always want to zero at 100 yards, in my opinion, just because it makes it easier to do math at long distance. We're shooting Hornady match, the 140 grain. This is the same ammo I shot the first time I shot 1,000 yards. It's really good ammo. It's the ELD match, and so we're gonna shoot this, see how close we can get, and then we'll look at our groups. But here we go. Okay, so these were really what we do typically is we'll get these and we'll get a big piece of paper like you see here, put a smaller target on it, and we shoot and we see kind of where we're at. So had a couple, and then this was a second shot, so we kind of disregard these 3 shots here. Then once we kind of got it close within 3 inches, I started shooting over here, and this was my final 3 shots when I was just getting it dialed in. And then I took it down here. So my final 3 shots were these 2, and then I slightly pulled this one. I could feel the pull on it. So, but still, that's about an MOA tip to tip of the rounds. So she's good and dialed. So now I think we're ready to true it. Take her out to about 400, 450 yards. Make sure that we're good to go on steel, and then we'll keep rolling with this bad boy. So let's go check it out. Okay, here we go. Fire in the hole. Oh yeah. First shot. She's true. Too much fun. Too much fun. Okay, at the end of the day, what is the purpose of a rifle like this? Well, obviously, long distance shooting. This is gonna be a gun that's gonna reach out to 1,000 yards fairly easily and very consistently. Couple of things I didn't have when we originally put this together was this VG6 brake. This is the Gamma 762. Added that onto the barrel. It's amazing for recoil mitigation. And we did not have the rail system because I actually did not know it didn't come with the MDT system. When we get to pricing, that's going to be an additional price that you guys are going to have to take into consideration, and this is the Arca rail. That wasn't allowing us to mount our Accu-Tac PC5 bipods. What I wanted to do with this build was I didn't want to really make any compromises. These are general manufactured components that you guys can purchase. None of this stuff is necessarily custom, but it is high end. So what does all this add up to? Total in this gun, I have $59.84, and that's a lot of money. I realize that we all can't just build $6,000 guns. And I didn't really want to make any compromises, but I realized that not everybody can do this. But you can get really close making some key compromises. Maybe you don't need the fluted barrel. You can get the regular barrel. That's going to save you a couple $100s. Maybe you can't afford $21.99 for an optic, but there's other optics out there. There's Vortex and other companies that make very solid optics that are around $1,000, so literally half the cost of this. You don't have to necessarily get a chassis. You can get a really nice, solid, regular rifle stock that has some adjustment on it, and you can get by and still hit 1,000 yards with that gun. Maybe you don't need the extra pistol grip. Maybe you don't need the Diamond Series trigger. TriggerTech also makes some other triggers that are about $100 cheaper, so you can save money. The key is where do you not compromise on? What I would not compromise on, as any rifle that you want to do precision shooting with, I would not compromise on the barrel. I would not compromise on the action. Those are two things. That's where the bullet rests. That's where the bullet rides. And that's going to be important. Everything else is an ergonomic thing, and you can train with that. Bipods, there's a lot of bipods. The Atlas Cal is about $200 cheaper than this. So you can save several $100s, even a couple $1,000s. And I would say you could actually build a rifle that could do very similar things for about half the price. Let's be honest. To build a really good precision rifle that's going to be consistent, that's going to be accurate out to 1,000 yards, it is going to cost some money. You're not going to be able to build one of these for less than $1,000. In fact, I would say you'd really struggle less than $2,500, if I'm being honest. But with that said, you can cut some corners that aren't going to sacrifice so much that you lose the ability to do what this gun could do. At the end of the day, I really, really love this gun. I really, really love the rifle. I can't wait to take it to a long range class. We'll be going to a Sidewinder Concepts class later on this year. Give a shout out to those guys, amazing long range instructors, so check them out if they're ever close to you. And this is really a dream gun for me, so I'm really excited about it. I've loved shooting it so far, and everybody that has shot this gun has been able to hit at 500 yards easily, including my 12-year-old son. You can look at that short on our YouTube channel. But when it comes down to building guns, have a plan, make sure you follow that plan, and understand where you can make compromises and where you can't make compromises. Because compromises end up compromising you and compromising the ability of your equipment. But you guys can do this kind of thing for less money than what I did. If you guys want to build this exact rifle, I have a build list with links in the description of this video. Guys, it's been awesome. And don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and that little bell so you know the next time that we put out a video, you guys can go right to it. Until next time, you guys stay safe, stay prepared, and we'll see you.